The most important thing is goals.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
this is the way I explained it, though. I tell people goals is like a stairway, and the vision is the ultimate.
Well, the trick is start with the end in mind. You know, and Steve McCovey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People book, which is awesome. One of the first things they say is start with a goal in mind. Picture your funeral. You know, the very end of life. You know, what do you want people saying about you? What do you want? They're going to forget what you said. They're going to forget what you've done, but they're never going to forget how you made them feel.
You made them feel, yep.
So, you know, how many people have you affected? How did you affect them? And what do you want people to say about you? You know, the very end of the game, where do you want to be, and what kind of people do you want to be around, and what kind of things do you want them to say about you? So that's the ultimate end of your vision.
Just say,
you know, is where do you wind up with? Unfortunately, you can't take all the fun shit with you.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, a lot of times people are in their own world. Their reality at this moment is their reality. So they'll see somebody like a famous baseball player and say, "Oh, that's amazing! How do you do that? There's no way. You know, it's an impossible goal for this teenager to ever become a major league baseball player." Or they might say, "Well, that guy's a millionaire. It's impossible for me." The only thing that's different between that millionaire and that poor person is what's up here, what's between the ears. It's you know, you're gonna get what you settle for, or what you tolerate, is what Tony Robbins said in the seminar that I was just at. And you know, in everyone's reality, you know, you surround yourself, your peers, and if you look at all your peers at your current level of where you're at in life, and you want to be better than all of them, okay, well, you might be here and they might be here, so the furthest you're ever going to get is here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so your goal might be here because that's as far as you can see ahead. It's like driving a car at night. You know, your headlights can only go 60 feet or 80 feet or 100 feet in front of you, but you can go from Florida to California in a pitch black night all night if you just keep on going. But you have to know where you're ending up at,
right? And
you have to have a roadmap of where to get, and you have to be able to see what's right in front of you. So if you're able to, you know, really visualize the impossible, and don't worry about if it's impossible or how you're going to get there. Just find where do you want to be, regardless of what's reality for you right now, or what might be reality even a year from now. Where do you want to be at the end of your life? Where do you want to be 10 years from now? Where do you want to be 5 years from now? Where do you want to be 1 year from now? And then work backwards. So the thing is, here's your goal.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter how to get there, but you have to have the goal, and you got to write it down. Don't just have it in your head, otherwise it's a wish. And if you wish in one hand and shit in the other one, which one's going to get full faster? You have to have action. You have to have substance. So you have your goal, your end game, where you want to be, and then you just work backwards from the end game. The problem is a lot of people start working forward instead of working backwards. So if you think, okay, I want to do this, and then I want to do this, and I want to do this, and overall in life, that's how you have to do it anyways. But if you have the end in mind, and then you work backwards, okay, let's say I want to make $1 million. If I want to make $1 million in a year, that means I have, now work backwards, I've got to make $90,000 a month. If I make $90,000 a month, I've got to make how much in a week?
Mm-hmm.
If I work that much in a week,
how much per day?
How much per day? How much per hour? So during my day, my 12-hour day or 15-hour or 24-hour day, what do I need to do during that day to stay on pace to make that weekly, monthly, annual goal happen? So you start at the end, you work backwards, and then you put it in perspective, and then you start working forward again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, you know, most people, including myself, I mean, we wander through life aimlessly, and we just kind of go where life takes us.
Yeah.
We have no control whatsoever where we're going in life. None of us do, because we're just a zombie following a program. And our program is usually just like a school of fish. I mean, they go where the rest of the fish go. They just kind of swarm together.
Right.
So if you keep your same surroundings, you're going to get the same result that they all get, and you're just going to be on this side of the, you know, this side of the crowd, or this side of the crowd, or maybe towards the front of the crowd. But no matter what, you're still going to be the king of the dipshits at best. So you hang around people that are doing the game that you want. You know, if you want to be like this person, you hang around those people, and if take it a step further, hang around their role models,
right.
And then you become one of their peers,
right?
You know, and then you're in a whole new league of yourself. You know, a whole new league. And I look back in my life, and I think of back, and all right, so when I was a kid, I used to listen to gangster rap, and you know, I mean, bitches, hoes, blah, 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 you know, my pants were hanging down my pants. You know, I didn't grow up in the hood. You know, my parents were school teachers. I grew up in the suburbs.
Lansing, right?
No, in Sterling Heights.
Over here?
Yeah, I mean, we grew up I went to Warren Consolidated Schools, which is one of the better school districts in the state. I was an outcast. I always had to stand out.
Suburban.
But I was
childhood.
I was the king of the dipshits, you know. And my whole thing is I always wanted to fit in. My parents were great parents. They did everything for me. But after school, my parents were also a lot of times they were correcting papers and things like that. So I didn't have the attention that I wanted. So I sought the attention from the neighborhood friends. And in my neighborhood where I grew up, it was mostly people that came from other countries. Their parents immigrated from either, Yugoslavia, Albania, Iraq, whatever, Chaldean, and Romanian and Bulgarian. I mean, you name it. It was a whole melting pot in my neighborhood of non-American people. And here I am wanting to hang around those kids, but I didn't fit in because I wasn't one of them.
And you were American.
Yeah, I was the American. So I learned every bad word in every one of those languages. And I hung around these kids because I wanted them to think, hey man, Zago's crazy, he's cool, And so when we started becoming teenagers, we all hung out together and it's like, what was that movie with Robert De Niro? He was the Irish guy. He couldn't be made because he wasn't really Italian. So I always wanted to be that one. I wanted to be the guy that I could never be made, but I always wanted to be one of the Hugos or one of the Elbows or one of the, and I wanted to be something that I wasn't. But in order to be accepted by them, I felt that I had to, when we fight, I'd have to be the one to jump up and hit the big guy first. And I'd always be the one to stand out. I was always the class
fight
clown.
first, yeah.
But and as negative as that might have been at that point, I realized that to get what I want, I have to stand out, and that helped me down the road in business.
Yeah.
Here's when I was a teenager. So I'll tell you a little bit about my life here. I guess this is when I was 16. Well, here, let's go back. I was about 14 years old. That was my little clubhouse that me and my dad built. And in there, when I used to go hang around all the kids in the neighborhood, I used to go and steal Cadillac hood ornaments and Chrysler crystals and Mack truck emblems off of cars. And I was a little punk, and I saw that movie Wildcats with Goldie Hawn. And there was the guy in the movie that was a really talented quarterback for the team. And they called him Birdman, but Birdman didn't want to play football. Birdman wanted to be ghetto. So Birdman would open up his trench coat, and he had toothbrushes he'd sell, and he'd sell watches, and on this side he had, jewelry and everything else. So I used to sell hood ornaments. I used to safety pin them on the inside of my jacket, and I'd go to school, and I used to shoplift watches and stuff from department stores, and I'd hang them in this side. And here I was, this kid growing up in the suburbs, and I was this little punk who was just, I was awful. I was a rotten.
And look at the businessman. Hold on, carpet guys, right there in Michigan.
So when customers rip ups off, I don't even get mad about it. I just think it's my karma for coming back from when I was an idiot teenager.
Asshole.
This is my clubhouse, and that clubhouse was meant to be like a nice thing that my dad built for me, but I usually used it to hide stolen bikes in and all the crap that I used to steal so my parents wouldn't find it. And so I wound up getting in trouble. I wound up going to juvie a bunch of times, and this is my high school picture in 10th grade before I got kicked out. And when
Kicked out of school?
Got kicked out in 10th grade. And then when I got kicked out of 10th grade, I wound up back in the Macomb County Youth Home, juvenile. And then here I got sent off because my parents thought I was crazy, which I was. This is a psychiatric hospital. So that was
mental hospital, right?
Yeah, in Chicago. So that was back in 1991. So I was really cuckoo. I mean, you can imagine. I was just a rotten, here I am holding my nuts and, just, I was just a punk,
So why did you print out these pictures? For what purpose?
Everyone else is smiling, and I was the grumpy one. I brought the pictures out because I was way against the odds. I was the person that nobody in their right mind would think. I was an absolute failure. There's no way this guy's going to amount to anything. He's either going to wind up dead or in jail for the rest of his life.
Right.
He's got no opportunity. He's just a shithead. And so, so that was me. And,
you would have been in jail.
Oh yeah, and here I am, and see it says Yugo because I wanted to be a Yugo, so I made and here are my Yugo friends and Chaldean friends, and I was the little American boy and
the white kid.
Always wanted to fit in with the bad kids in school. I wanted to be badass, considered crazy. So here I was, And then I got a little bit older after I started getting in trouble. I was a young adult, and I wanted attention so badly. Still, the cliques kind of broke up. And the ones that did, I just kind of, back when I was younger and I was rotten, it was, I hate to say it, a lot of those kids are great people now, but at the time we were rotten kids and they were all rotten kids. I mean, I hung around the rotten ones,
Right.
I got attention that way. And, somewhere along the line, I stopped listening to gangster rap and I found this passion for electronic music. And then I wanted to be a DJ. So,
I remember those days. Yes.
So, I got a pair of headphones, and now I got all this attention because I meet girls in the club because obviously if you're controlling the music, you're the man.
Right.
And, there's actually a picture of me and Kid Rock, and there's Uncle Cracker right there. But back in the day, but that's when I used to smoke. I was a punk, and I used to get tons of traffic tickets. My license plate even was devious. And that's a stack of traffic tickets. I was actually proud of that. Like I was excited about being the shithead in town.
Oh my God! Yeah, there's
over 100 traffic tickets. So when they finally all hit my license at once, I think I had 79 points. My license got suspended, obviously.
79 points.
All at once. In 1 week, they'll hit. Because I was trying to play the system. I had a New York license, I had a Florida license, I had a Michigan license. Believe me, I was creative. I always found a way to maneuver around the rules and the system. I was just rotten, though.
You just didn't use the creativity.
But I used it for the wrong way. And so once I became, I made a lot of contacts doing the DJ stuff. I sucked as a DJ, so then I became a nightclub promoter. And then I was introduced to MySpace back in 2004.
Yes.
And then, I became the king of the dipshits on MySpace. And what was funny, though, is because I was really... I made a dent in social media at one point. And a friend of mine, his name is Kenneth Thomas, he's here from Detroit, but he was an opening act for international DJ Paul Oakenfold. And I went down to... the Wet Grooves party that Paul Oakenfold was the headliner at every year down in Miami over Winter Music Conference. He goes, "Hey, you're Joey Detroit from MySpace." And my buddy Sean and KT were like, "What?" Like, how does he know that? So it was funny, but so then I wanted to stand out, and I thought I was cool here in Vegas, and I used to shave zebra stripes in my chest.
I thought that was a shirt.
I always wanted to try to stand out and be different and to get the attention of everybody. So I shaved zebra stripes in my chest, and I was sitting there with my badass cigarette and holding a drink because I was always drunk in a palm tree. And then after getting drunk a bunch of times, I eventually got a DUI. And after getting the DUI, I wound up getting a second one because I was an idiot. I never learned. And here's me in 2009. I was at rock bottom. I was, I think, 35 or 36 years old, so 15 years experience of being the bigger and bigger idiot that I could possibly be. And I'm showing off my tether like I'm a cool dude.
Oh, that's a tether?
I'm a 36-year-old idiot in the bathtub with my tether on. Lost my house, lost my car from repossession after hiding the car for 1.5 years from the repo guy. And I
living in the car, too.
I lived in the car. And I used to mess with the repo guy. He'd post something on Facebook.
Oh, I remember that,
like,
yes.
"Hey, man, meet me at this place," And then next thing you know, like, my friend would be over there. Like, I'm in Florida, and he's in Arizona. And he's like, "Dude, a repo truck came here 5 minutes after you posted." Like, I knew they were following me. And I just messed with them. So, like, they thought I was in this state when I was over here. Then they thought I was here when I was over there. And I was always way ahead. And then I just got sloppy, and they finally found my car about 1.5 years later. But I got a free car for 1.5 years. It was a Cadillac. It was nice.
This is not recommended for you to do.
So the repo guy got my car. But anyways, I was bankrupt. I lost my license. My driver's license was revoked, so I lost my job. My house, I was on house arrest with a tether, and that was it. Game over. What am I going to do? So what could I do being stuck in a house for 30 days?
No car, no nothing.
So we started throwing parties at the house. And we charged cover. And I remember... we used to charge $10 a head to get in because we figured that if you bought all the liquor and bought all the mixers, and it was after 2 o'clock in the morning, that by that time most people are already pretty shit-faced already.
Right, they're not going to drink that much.
So $10 at our cost, realistically, they're probably only going to drink about $2 or $3 of it, so we make a $7 or $8 profit on it. We paid a door guy, Steve, to make sure that they all paid cover. And if they said, "Hey, I'm Joe's friend," it's all right, pay cover. And he did.
That's always like that. People try to get it free.
We paid him 10% of the door, so he'd walk away. I mean, literally, one time we had over 160 people in this little house.
In the basement.
And this house could barely, it was like this, in every room of the house. And people still pay to get in, and I think Steve made $160 that night being the door guy at my house, But then we take the profit, we'd buy more liquor for the next one, and that was so I was always creative, finding a way. I never woe is me and gave up. I just found a way to somehow roll with what I had. The problem is the way I was rolling was just the wrong way to roll.
Right.
So when I was on the tether, and we were having these parties at actually it was my buddy Sean's house. I was living in the basement at that point. There was no heat in the house because they turned the gas on illegally, and they let it stay for about 1.5 years, and then eventually they got caught. The gas guy came and shut it off, and they slapped us with a bill for $3,200 at that house. And so Sean moved out because he didn't have the money.
Oh my God.
And me and my friend Eric were the ones that were still living there, but we had space heaters everywhere. So we took electricity from both neighbors' houses and from the house here, and we put space heaters everywhere. And it was funny though because we'd pick up girls at the bar, and then like, "Oh man, the landlord forgot to fix the heat," so they come over for about an hour, because it was too cold.
They wouldn't want to stay, right?
No one stuck around there too long. It was great. it was just a really, really low point, but I always found humor in it. And I always found some sort of comfort in it. No
That's the key to survival, though.
No matter how shitty it was.
Right. That's the key to survival, otherwise.
Survival, yeah, but I mean, who wants to survive? That's the problem. Most people just survive. Most people just want to just get a little bit above the break-even point. And somewhere along the line, I think it was my third day there, I woke up in the middle of the night. Actually, I was really drunk. And I had a tether on, and I'm not supposed to be drinking, but I was drinking. And it wasn't an alcohol tether, it was just a location tether. And I needed a pack of cigarettes because I should smoke. And there was a girl that was passed out over here. She had her purse over and her car keys sitting there. And I took her car keys out of her purse. I broke the tether off. I went to 7-Eleven, bought a carton of cigarettes, came back to the house, and then I called house arrest services and said, hey, my tether fell off in my sleep. And they said, come in tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. when we open. You have to be in between 9 and 11. So I waited till 10:45 or something, and I got the ride over there. And luckily I blew all zeros so they didn't violate me, because I would have went to jail. And I did that because I was drunk, and when I was drunk, my judgment was way out the window. And then and because of my addiction to smoking. So the next day, when I was sober and in my right mind, they were having a party again, and I avoided the party. And about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, I get up and I wake up and I see, spilled beer all over the house. There was drugs on the table. There was people I didn't even recognize sleeping on the floor. Music downstairs playing. I go downstairs and people are doing this with their jaw because they're so jacked up on drugs or whatever else. And I just had it. I said, that's it. And I took the cigarettes that I bought the day before, which I should have went to jail for because I was on the tether for my DUI. I shouldn't have been leaving the house. I shouldn't have been drinking. I shouldn't have done anything. And I smashed the cigarettes. I dumped all the liquor out of the house. Everyone got mad at me. I kicked everyone. I said, get the fuck out of here. Every single one, get the fuck out of here. My roommate said, what's wrong with you? I'm like, everyone get out of here. You too. And it wasn't even my place. And for the next 14 or 15 hours, I just sat there and I just looked at my life and I reflected on where I was when I was 16 and 17 and 18 and my parents shipping me off to boarding school. And after I got out of boarding school, hitchhiking. I walked 19 miles and I hitchhiked the rest of the way to Stockbridge, Massachusetts with no money, nothing, just the clothes on my back. And I went to the Salvation Army and I got help from them. And the Red Cross put me up at the Fitch's Motel. And I went and got a welfare card because I didn't have ID. But with the money that I got, the $13 or whatever that I got from the Red Cross, I went to the Salvation Army and I bought a pair of dress shoes. And I got myself. I wound up getting three jobs that day: the Big Y grocery store, Chi-Chi's restaurant, the Pittsfield movie cinema. And I just started looking at it. At that point in my life, when I was 19 years old with nothing, I was more in control of my future than I was at 36. And I remember when I was 34, floating in my pool at the old house, thinking, "Oh man, I got life by the balls. I got a $100,000 a year job. I've got an in-ground swimming pool. Girls are over every single day. I've got this, that going on. And by the time I'm 42, my house will be paid off. And then I got a drinking and driving, and then I didn't learn my lesson. I did it again, and I got caught a second time, and so I lost everything. And then even in the you figure you'd find humility and learn a lesson, and I didn't. I was just getting more and more cocky because I was still succeeding at a lower and lower level and still keeping myself happy.
Right.
And at that moment, though, after I kicked everyone out and I was in that house alone, one of my friends, about 14 or 15 hours after I was by myself, my roommate came home and says, "We got to go get Ryan." Or something happened to Ryan. It's one of my friends that was sleeping over the house a lot, and apparently, they found him in a bathroom at a gas station with a heroin needle between his toes, and they thought he was dead. He lived. He was in a ventilator for a couple of weeks, and then he survived it. And whatever. Now he's doing really great in life. But sometimes you need that really rock bottom to
Yeah.
For me, seeing people that I was associating with dying and almost dying, and all this crap happening in their life, and I'm realizing like I am what I surround myself with. Mm-hmm. So I completely kicked everybody completely out of my life. And I said, what, if I would have got caught last night driving when I shouldn't have driven, especially drunk, after I already had 2 DUIs under my belt, on a tether, after I lost everything already, had nothing going for me, if I would have got caught, they would have shipped me off to prison for probably 2 years in Michigan. 2 years. What would I be doing my second day of prison? If that was my second day of prison, which would be 2 days after when that actually happened, because when I was sitting on that red couch, what would I be doing right now if I was in prison? I'd be on my knees in my cell, begging God for more help, please give me another chance. I swear I'll never do it again. I'll do everything the way you want me to live. I'll be
And then you would have done it again.
And once, and that's the thing, like I'm on my knees praying to God all the time when I need Him. But then I get cocky and then I forget about God when I don't feel that I need Him. But the reality is I need to keep that center of my life, all the time. But anyways, so I pretended myself for the next 27 days while I'm on my tether, what should I be doing? Well, if I was in prison, what would I be doing? I'd be wishing that I had work release. I'd be wishing that I could do this. So I had no money. I had a credit card after my bankruptcy. All my other credit cards were maxed out, and then they wiped them away in my bankruptcy. And I had my Spirit MasterCard from
Spirit Airlines?
Spirit Airlines MasterCard from Barclay Bank, which was issued out of the UK. They didn't catch it in my bankruptcy, so they kept my card open. And it had a $600 limit, which I think I had $550 already on it, so I was almost out of money on the credit on there, and I had no means of paying it back anyways. But I went and I got one of those free websites on Wix.com, where you drag and drop the icons, and you could make the little push buttons, and you make a link of where you want it to go, and I had it linked to my MySpace page. And I had gotten a cell phone, and with the cell phone, I had the phone number for... See, before all this stuff happened, I used to sell carpeting for Empire Today, which is a flooring company that most people know based out of Chicago, but they had a branch here in Detroit. In fact, when I applied for Empire Today, I was with Ardita at your house saying, "Hey, Empire's in Michigan. I should get a job there," because her and I sold refrigerators at Sears, and so it was at your apartment. This was in 2001 or 2002, I think. I'm not sure. 2001.
2003 or something, because Mia was already born and a baby.
Yeah, she was an infant. I remember. Yeah. And so, anyways, so I was good at selling carpeting. While I was there at Empire for 7 years, I met people that were installers. So I knew people that were installers. I couldn't drive, but the girl that I started seeing at the time when I first made the website and wanted to generate business, she could drive, but her hours, she worked for the city of Mount Clemens, and her hours got cut down from 40 hours plus with overtime down to 11 hours a week. So she just had a brand new condo that she was moving into. She had a brand new car that she had to pay for and bills, but with her hours being cut, she couldn't afford to pay for it at the time. And so I said, I'll tell you what, you drive, you go, you drive me to where I got to go to make money, and everything that gets sold, you pay all your bills first, and then everything else gets paid for me, and we'll split whatever's left. That's how we kind of did it at the beginning. But what we did is I made a little website saying, shop at home carpeting, and I went to a local distributor who was also hurting at the time because the economy tanked in 07 to 09, and this is end of 09, beginning of 2010, and so they gave me samples of carpeting, and then. So I used social media, MySpace and Facebook, to get my friends to help me advertise. Because instead of just posting stuff on Facebook myself, if I had other people posting it also, and using the power of the masses, of using other people's energy, doing these things, then I could reach more people. So how did I incentivize it? I said, if anybody that you refer, anyone of your friends or family or coworkers need carpeting, and they refer us to the Carpet Guys, which is the name of my company, if they buy from us, we'll give you a $100 Visa gift card. Well, the economy was bad, so everybody wanted that extra $100. All I had to do was keep posting shit.
Right.
And so everyone else was spamming everyone else's pages for me. So I had 30 people doing it on top of myself. And at that point, somebody introduced me to the secret. And the secret was, I'm very bad at reading because I have really bad ADD. I'll read 3 paragraphs and forget every word in it.
They have it in video too.
So for $1, you can rent it on, go to the secret, thesecret.tv,
right.
I think. For $1, you can watch it, And in that, it talked about visualization and, think of the goals and stop thinking negative because, with quantum physics or the law of attraction, you're going to attract whatever you're thinking more towards. You're going to gravitate towards it. So, a lot of people wake up and they think negative and their whole day stays negative. And that's why, I was always positive. But in there was a guy, he was talking about his vision board. And I said, what the hell's a vision board? And I continued watching it. And this vision board, in the story, in The Secret, this guy's moving into his new house and he's unpacking his office. And his little daughter walks into the room and says, "What's this, Daddy?" And he goes, and there's a picture, like a collage of different things. And he says, "Well, that was my vision board." He goes, "What's a vision board?" Daughter said. And he started explaining. He goes, "Well, I cut out pictures of things that I wanted back then, and things that were unattainable, but I dreamed of." And I looked at it every single day, and then I started gravitating, because I thought about those, I started gravitating towards those things, and eventually it started manifesting themselves, and they came in their life. And the craziest thing that still gives me shivers to this day is when he's looking at this vision board of his daughter, he looks at the house, his dream house back then,
right,
when he made the vision board, and he was unpacking his stuff in that same dream house that he found in the magazine, posted on his vision board. He bought that exact same house without even realizing it was a thing that he put on a board
years
10
ago,
years
probably.
before.
Right.
He's now unpacking it in his office of that exact house, which was his dream house, and he's accomplished that 10 years later, and he thought never in his life he was ever going to accomplish it.
Right.
And so I said, maybe there is something to this. And so I started writing down my goals. Instead of just thinking of them, I started writing them down. And then I put together this vision board. And the first vision was somehow finding a way to get 3 appointments per day. Because if 3 people could call and say, hey, I want carpet, I know that I can go there, I could sell 2 out of 3 of them.
Right.
I could bring the samples, they'll pick something out that they want, I can have my friend Raphael install it, I can buy the carpet from a distributor, as long as they give me a third down, I can cover the cost of material, put it in, collect the other 2/3, pay the installer the other 1/3, and keep a third, and then split it for me and the girlfriend at the time. So I had the goal figured out. I worked backwards of how I had to,
how to accomplish it. Yep.
And it worked, because then I just, so the dream was 3 leads a day, and the goal was I put all over I wrote it on a piece of paper, slapped it on the refrigerator, wrote it on a piece of paper, put it in my wallet, wrote it on the refrigerator, put it on the radio on Harmony's dashboard, put it on a piece of paper, slapped it on the mirror where I brush my teeth every morning, I put it everywhere around her condo where I was living, and it said 3 leads a day equals 300K. So I figured as long as I can get into 3 leads a day at the end of the year, we'll do 300,000 in sales. And we started the business in April, and by the end of the year, we did 370,000 in sales.
Nice.
So I was like, no shit, there's something to this. So now I'm thinking, okay, how do I double that? How do I get 6 leads a day? And so I started making more and more goals, and I started writing them down. And lo and behold, it just started happening. And it was just, it's crazy. It just started happening. And again, here I am, this total dipshit, but here I am starting to finally get out of the rut and move in this upward, and it started building momentum. Now what happens is when you start achieving these little goals that were impossible little goals, but they were nowadays are nothing. I could do it like it's like juggling. It's like breathing. It's just natural. But back then it was a mountain to climb. There's no way I could accomplish 3 leads a day to equal 300K. And so my goal is, how do I double it? Well, let's think even bigger. And I said, what if we did $1 million in sales? And the second year we did 1.5 million in sales. The third year we did 3.5 million in sales. And I was doing this out of Harmony's apartment, or her condo that she was renting from this person. And at that point, people started seeing the change in me, so then they wanted to come sell carpeting with me, and then I started duplicating myself. And so then we bought one of those Stephen McCovey Dayminder books, and that was our first. We didn't have CRM software to manage our customers. We had a book. And we put the appointments, so I had 4 salespeople at that time, including myself. And my friend Sean was driving me around at that point. Harmony was taking the phone calls and setting up the appointments. And so that was 1 day of appointments. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
For installments, right?
Nope, and sales calls. And we'd
sales calls.
We'd sell at least half of them, or a third of them. We'll save the other guys, and I was pretty good. I'd sell 2 out of 3. I was good at sales. But that was how we scheduled our appointments. But what happens is with this, I was struggling paying a $150, $120 monthly Verizon bill. And so when I had to exceed, besides just using social media for advertising, and I had to start actually using advertising. Mm-hmm. People said Google AdWords, because I was watching other companies succeeding, and so I started utilizing Google. And I was like, holy shit, this is going to be $300 a month. How am I going to afford $300 a month? Okay, well, that was the goal. Started working backwards. It's going to equal this many sales. Take the profit of this many sales to make that $300. Well, if I double that and did $600 a month, how do I do that? Well, it's going to require this many sales. How do you get that many sales? And again, I put the goal in mind, started working backwards. And then before you know it, when you're running 18 appointments a day, if you're selling 7 or 8, now you need more installers. Well, now you're also generating a lot more profit. So now the snowball starts to grow. So now you can start spending money on, we started, I went to a printer, and I had made these little advertisements, and I went door to door, and I started putting them on people's doors. And I would knock on the door and introduce myself. Hi, I'm Joe. I started a new carpet company in the area. It's local here. If you or anyone you know is in the market for carpet or flooring, and I always didn't say if you're in the market, it's if you or anyone you know or coworkers in the market for carpeting, because then they expand their thought process.
Right, it's not just about
them. They might not need it, but their
right.
sister might. There's somebody at work might, and they'll hold on to the piece of paper. It's $100 off. Well, what's $100? It costs nothing out of the gross of the deal. You know?
Right.
So I was having these people, most of them would throw it away. Some people would give it to a friend. Some people would use it themselves. But now I started increasing my customer base. I started getting people that wanted to, and then I was able to spend more money on Google AdWords. And then from Google AdWords, I started doing print advertising. And it was funny because I had a new girlfriend at this time because me and Harmony broke up, and I was single for a few months, and then I started dating another girl. And this girl was really brilliant with Excel and what have you. Mm-hmm. So she helped keep me organized because I'm the worst AD.
So you were running into the right partners.
I was really lucky because and I think that's really important is to have the right partner in life because they say, oh, I didn't mean I could do it, but he couldn't do it without his woman. And I honestly believe that. I think you really have to have a good partner. And
you can do it by yourself, but
you could, but it's 10 times easier when you have, because you're going to have your ups and downs.
Right.
And sometimes the downs are really lonely by yourself.
Right.
But if you've got someone saying, hey, baby, everything will be all right, and let me help you with this.
Right.
It gives you that fire, that motivation, And then you also never want to let that other person down if you're in a committed relationship with that person. So I think that really, really helps.
Could be your kids too.
It could, yeah. I mean, so that's in that. So I ran into that, and about 2 or 3 months later, we found out she was pregnant, and when she was pregnant, let's see, there's a picture I had over here.
Pause, stop.
Make her go, because it helps when it's.
I know, but I don't want to cut off.
Right. So we found out that we're going to have a little boy. So at that point, that was a motivation that I definitely cannot fail. There's no way I can fail at this point. And I couldn't do this, in a little apartment that I was going month to month on rent for either. So we had to buy a house. And at the time, the economy was tanked, so I bought us our first house for $36,000. And but we were doing enough sales where I had about $40,000 saved at the time, plus what was in the company. And so I was able to pay cash for that house and get it. And I actually sold that house 2 years later, not even a year and a half later, for $170,000 because the economy was starting to bounce back in Michigan. Mm-hmm. So I made a lot more money on the house when I went to sell it. But I had to constantly figure out ways to increase business. So to increase business, so we've got social media, we've got our print advertisement, we had Google AdWords. What else can you do? People buy from people they like. And so I try to keep things very personable, and I started writing thank you cards to everybody we visited, even the people that didn't buy from us. So every couple of weeks we'd send out a stack of handwritten, thank you cards. Thanks for the time.
They have to like you, yes.
And but it resonates with them because again, they don't care what you say, they don't care what you do, but they care about how you made them feel.
Right.
And it feels good to get a handwritten letter from somebody in the mail.
Yep.
Thanking you for your time because your time is your most valuable asset. So you're thanking them instead of just taking it for granted, and then they appreciate that you respect their time.
Right.
And it went a long way. And then for the people that bought from us, I had these little chocolates made, and we sent these out around Christmas time. And I actually went door to door and I hand delivered these things. And these chocolates cost me $6, but no one else was. Who else is going to knock on their door, go out of their way, drive their car over there, knock on their door, and give them these chocolates? Say, hey, you know what? I appreciate you. Thank you. And it said the carpet guys and the chocolate. Because then you know what they'll do? They'll take it to work and they'll tell people, man, this guy was so nice.
So nice, right? Yes,
you know what? They told their friends, what's the best form of advertisement? Referrals.
Word of mouth.
And these people became my walking, talking testimonials. So now I've got social media, Google, print, and a lot of people talking. And then I got the creative. So we started doing funny things. I shaved rugs in my chest. Got rugs.
Once you shaved half of your chest for half off.
Half off.
Yeah.
and just doing goofy little things like that. And then next thing you know, so the company went from 370,000 to a little over $1 million or $1.5 million or whatever, and then $3 million the next year, and then $6 million the next year, and then it went to 11 million. 13 million, and right now we're on pace for 20 million, and we're doing well over almost $2 million in sales a month. This month is going to be our first month that we go over $2 million a month in 1 month in sales, which was 6 times the goal originally for a whole year. The company started growing and running out of space in the battery. I'll keep going here real quick. A lot of great things I was able to accomplish because of that. My mom, that was her dream car, and if you look at my very, 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 very first vision board. Right here.
Yeah, let's see that.
My first vision board was to have a view of the water from wherever I lived. I wanted to have a house on the water with that view. If you look,
let me turn around. Yep.
If you look over your shoulder right there.
Let me turn around.
5 years after I made this vision board, that's my view that I get to wake up to every
That's
day.
the lake.
Yeah, even on a crappy day when it's muggy, sloppy, and rainy, and crappy out, it's still an amazing, amazing, amazing view to wake up to. And the other thing on that vision board that I really liked is my mom's dream car was a yellow Corvette.
Oh.
And so on her 70th birthday, I was able to buy her a yellow Corvette convertible.
It's
and
never too late.
It was for my mom.
Oh.
So we made sure we did what we followed through with our customers, and we were Better Business Bureau A+. And then I was able to get pretty much every dream car I ever wanted. There's actually more of them out in the garage now, including my
I have nowhere to park when I come to his house.
My first Ferrari. And it's my 3 topless girls. I said my convertible BMW, my convertible Corvette, my convertible Ferrari. The Corvette's mine again because my mom only drove it 13 miles in 2 years. Because by the time she got her dream car, her dream car when she was 30 is in her dream car when she's 70.
Right.
She drove in and out of it, so she drove 13 miles.
But at least you can say she got it.
Yeah. As a kid, I always wanted a Lamborghini. Everyone had a Lamborghini poster on their wall, and I bought a brand new 2017 Lamborghini Huracan.
Cashed it out.
Beautiful car. A lot of fun. And I built my dream house on the water. And that's my stack of Cadillacs. Got to travel the world. I mean, here's in Shanghai.
China?
Yeah. I bought my sister a house. It was in the newspaper because my sister was in a tough spot and I was able to buy her house for cash. And I put a brand new car in her garage also. So she had a brand new house and a brand new car. She hadn't paid anything for it. One of my dream vacations was to go to Rome. There's me last year in front of the Colosseum. And I got to travel to the Middle East.
Nice. Did you go to Dubai?
No, not yet.
We can go together.
And that's my son. He's awesome. It's absolutely amazing.
Such a cute boy.
And that's my view from my bedroom window upstairs when I wake up every morning. And it's me on TV. We do an awful lot to help different people out in the community.
I was about to say that. I know that you give free installations.
It's really important to have an attitude of gratitude. And
right.
That's the most important thing. Givers get.
Yes.
And a lot of people think the opposite. They think, if I get, then I'll give.
Right.
The thing is, give first.
Give first.
And then watch what comes back. Don't ever expect it to come back from the person.
Without expectation, right. Give out of the bottom of your heart.
Don't lend anybody money, ever. Don't ever loan anybody shit. Give them something.
Right.
Because then it's a different expectation.
Right.
Those people can't let you down for not paying you back.
Joe.
Again, that's in China. And
I was about to go in a different direction with that.
and now it's cool because I can go and I can talk in front of a bunch of people and tell them what I did. Because there's nothing impressive about Joe Zago. I'm an idiot.
You can be the next Tony Robbins.
I was an absolute delinquent, and I don't say it to impress you. I say it to impress upon you the fact that if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Right,
It's just a matter of
inspiration.
What's up here?
Yep.
But you have to visualize it, and you can't just visualize it in here. You have to take what's in here and your dreams and everything, and put it on a piece of paper, glue it to a thing, and put it everywhere, and make that your vision board. Because the vision board is that's the biggest stepping stone I've ever had.
Definitely.
And then continually don't poison your head. If there's negative people, don't be around negative people. Always hang around people that are better than you.
Mm-hmm. Birds of the feather fly together.
Yep.
Thanks, Joe. I really appreciate this.
Thank you.
This is my inspiration, my motivation, and this is what I try to bring to you guys when I post those little videos. So appreciate you guys from all of us.
Be wise. Call the carpet guys.
Be wise. Call the carpet guys.
he's there. Let me see that, because always.
I try to get my company involved in a lot of those things, and you can see Tommy at the Salvation Army. He was a bell ringer last year. Here's another event at the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army in Warren, Michigan. Every year, we help them. We fill an entire gymnasium with toys for 2,000 kids that wouldn't have toys for Christmas.
And it's about also how you treat your employees.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, you have to always have that attitude of, like I said, givers get. And if I want to get good productive out of my staff and out of the people that we associate with, then I need to give to them. And we really try to do an awful lot for them. And, we put up different contests. But every single year we take the entire company, and not just the company, not just
their family too.
Their families, their kids, if they want to bring their parents. We put them up at the Hotel Breakers, which is right there in the middle of the park. I mean, it's a $30,000 day at Cedar Point. Cedar Point's normally $60.
Yes.
But we'll spend $30,000 on giving back to the family of everybody that works in the company, and it's also an opportunity for me to say thank you to the spouse. Because sometimes our staff works longer hours than average 9 to 5. Sometimes they might have my wife or husband might have dinner on the table at 6 o'clock at night, and the employee of the company or associate comes home at 7 or 8, and they do what it takes to get the job done. So this is our way of saying thank you to the families first, because if it wasn't for the family support, just like I said, every great woman or great man has to have a good partner. It's with them to stand behind them. So
they say the guy's the head of the family and the woman's the neck.
or the other way around. Either one.
In this case,
either one.
gas is my head.
Either one. There's two parts to the equation, and you have to nurture both sides of it, not just the one that's giving production to you. Because in order for them to recharge their batteries, they have to have a good home life.
Yep, that's true.
And so we really do everything we can to try to take care. We had over 260 people at this last Cedar Point one, but I've been fortunate enough to learn the importance of having a vision board and for goal setting and writing these goals down and the step-by-step process, starting with the end in mind, having an attitude of gratitude, and giving more than you get, and knowing that these key principles are what's the ingredients to get the end result that you really want to have. A lot of people say, I'll believe it when I see it, but the truth is it's opposite. You won't see shit until you believe it.
Right.
And so I fell in love with these core principles, and I believed in them. And because I believed in them, it gave me hope. And if there's hope in the future, there's power in the present. And those are the things that move you forward. And the momentum just starts to grow. And it's amazing. I mean, there's so much more to do. I mean, wait. Large extra large. Boom, for your big head. Excellent. Boom! There you go, Stevie.
There you go. So, I got me a hat. Look good?
Look good.
And I still use a Kirby vacuum cleaner. This is how I learned how to sell. My favorite parts about the house. Yeah, it's all custom.
Custom, right? Yeah.
So Gino Builders built my house. Gino builds a lot of houses up by between 23 and 25 mile over in
Italian?
Shelby, New Baltimore. Yeah, excellent builder.
Yep.
Oh, so that's
Like IKEA, eh?
better. I mean, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
But they have
Same
deeper,
concept.
It's a couple inches deeper than most of your standard ones.
What is the name?
Clever Closets.
Is it local?
Yeah.
Look like a...
I'm just a tool. I'm a total tool bag. If you don't believe me, look at my license plate. I'm a tool.
I'm a tool.
So
then you have...
So again, there's not a lot of... That was my mom's
tool
dream car,
bag.
so that's my vet now. And
I think you have tool on the Lambo as well.
Yeah, so for a flyboard, they connect to the back of the jet ski. That's badass.
This is Joey Zago.
It connects to the back of the jet ski. You get these boots, and these boots have little rocket things that shoot the water up underneath. You go like 50 feet up in the air and you float. You guys see those?
Oh, this one says big tool, Joe.
Awesome. You gotta see it. We'll do it this summer. Grossest, stupidest, most disgusting waste of money I've ever done.
But it feels
You
good.
know what? I bought my sister a house, my nephew a house. I bought my, I did everything for my parents. I did everything I could for people. I finally did something to spoil myself, and I did it. You deserve it.
Feels good.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, think it's 7 years ago. I was fucking homeless.
That's well put.
I mean, it didn't happen overnight, but 7 years is.
7 years, you did it faster
I
than
was
most.
able to do a lot of shit in
See you up
7 years.